Welcome again the participants in the second session of organizational behavior. And as all we know that in the last session we could discuss about the meaning, the definition, and we could understand the concept of organizational behavior, and yes, we also discussed about the objectives of organizational behavior. In today's session we will talk about the importance of organizational behavior, how this organizational behavior is important for running the organization. And in the last session we discussed that there may be any type of organization, that is the industrial organization, business organization, government organization, or a school or religious organization or political organization. Everywhere there is need to understand the organizational behavior, and this need is because of certain significance. And the very first significance of organizational behavior is to improve the quality and productivity. Nowadays quality, cost and productivity is a concern, and this concern can be addressed by the use of appropriate technology, by use of appropriate materials, machinery, environment, and the culture. And among them another important factor is organizational behavior. Organizational behavior can help us to enhance the productivity of people. If the people working with the organization are satisfied, contented, their attitude towards organization is positive, their perception about organization is constructive, then of course the productivity will improve and the quality of work, and in ultimate the quality of product will improve. The second significance of organizational behavior is how the work of diversity can be managed, that is management of workforce diversity. If we take example of large sized organizations like Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is having its business all over the world, even among more than 100 countries, and a huge workforce is working there. And if we take example of India only, in Coca-Cola there are lot many plants and lot many offices of Coca-Cola where variety of diversity of people are working, and the diversity is with respect to the different demographical factors like age, education, experience, qualification, and other factors. And when we were talking about definition, or we were trying about understanding the organizational behavior, we discussed that each and every individual has got different and unique behavior. Now, the sole objective of an organization is to attain its goal in utilization of optimum resources, and resources means all the resources including the human resource, there should be optimum use, and this optimization can be attained by an appropriate behavior. So, n number of people are working with the organization and they have different behaviors, and all they have to work in the organization, all they have to push the organization in the direction of attainment of the goal. If there will not be the cooperation, if there will not be the coordination and synchronization among their behaviors, then attainment of organizational goal will become a difficulty. So, it is at most important for the organizational behavior manager to develop the synchronization, cooperation and coordination among various people working with the organization. Net significance of organizational behavior is responding to the process of globalization. All we understand that the present day organizations have become the global villages. Global villages means as we took example of Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is running its business throughout the world, and when it is running the business throughout the world means the culture changes with change in the geography. The culture in India, the culture in Pakistan, the culture in Sri Lanka, culture in America and European countries is different, and nowadays there is no limit. A manager might be working today in India, and tomorrow that person may be transferred to any of the geographical place, and with the change in the geographical place there will be change in the culture, and yes, culture and social principles have impact on behavior. So, accordingly the behavior of people working with the organization will also change. So, there is need to understand the behavior at global level, at international level, and yes, to scrutinize it, to streamline it as per need of the organization at different geographical and different cultural places. The third significance of organizational behavior is empowering the people in the organization. Organization has a source of power at the top level, but to execute the work of organization it is necessary to delegate the power up to the grassroots level, so that people can take decision at right time and the right decision, and for that power needs to be delegated. So, the organizational behavior helps the organization how the power from the top to bottom can be delegated, so that authority can be given to the people, they can take decision and they can influence the behavior of others. And why there is need to take decision and influence the behavior of others? Without that it is not possible to execute the work of organization. So, the empowerment of organizational people is another factor of importance for the organizational behavior. Next significance is coping with the adversities of the organization. There are certain situations, there are certain circumstances where everything is going very well, but because of any factor, and we can take example of COVID. That was a medical problem, but how badly it impacted the business, the organizations. So, anything and everything in this world can affect the working of organizations, working of business. So, if there is any adversity, if there is any hardship, if there is any tough time, if anything which is not appropriate for the business, how that should be handled, that will also come under the purview of organizational behavior manager. And the next significance is to promote the creativity, innovation and change. Present day organizations are organizations which are proactive in inviting the change. And why we need to invite the change? Present day is the day of cost cutting and quality maximization. And if you want to maximize the quality by cutting the cost, otherwise phenomena is reverse. If we will enhance the quality, the cost will go high, but present day is the day of cutting the cost and maximizing the quality. So, if we want to do that, there is need of technological intervention. Only technology can cut the cost and enhance the quality. But what kind of quality? Present day is not the day of basic needs only. People are not worried about their basic needs. People are worried about the choices, comfort, luxury, taste, pleasure, and there is no limit to all these factors. There is no end to all these factors. So, if we want to make this world more comfortable, more luxurious, more full of tastes and more full of pleasure, then the technological intervention is required. And technology is changing. With the development of technology, other technologies develop, and as a result of development of technology in different disciplines, there is further need to improve it. So, this is a continuous process, and because of continuous process, it is necessary to innovate, to create and to make the change. The innovation, creation and change is possible with the help of the new technology. And how this new technology will be handed over to the people, how they would be skilled to use that technology is also one of the importance. There are other factors also, and among them then how people can be skilled, then yes, of course, how the ethical behavior can be improved. As I told you that there are certain behavior which are supportive and there are certain behavior which are not supportive. In the supportive behavior, there are ethical issues also. Ethical issues means this world should be a livable place for everyone. Everyone means all the living beings, and yes, of course, the environment, the nature should not be disturbed. If we want to do that, then if we compare the working of business, working of organization, the ultimate aim of an organization is to earn maximum profit and to maximize the wealth. So, if we will go blindly for the maximization of wealth and earning profit, the environmental aspects, the living beings, the nature will get disturbed, and that is not ethical. Reason being, this environment, this nature, this culture is not for this generation only, it is for the upcoming generations also. So, the human activities should be in such a way, so that there should be sustainability, there should be continuity of availability of resources, and that can be done with the help of ethical behaviors only. Now, the next concept in this organizational behavior is what are different elements of organizational behavior. The organizational behavior can be classified into, divided into 4 different basic elements, and these 4 basic elements are people, structure, technology and organization. And people, all we understand, people can further be classified individuals, groups and organization as a whole. Individual means I am professor of pedagogy and capacity building, I am working with a university, and being individual, I have my interest, I have my aspirations, and I want to achieve my goals and objectives. And similarly, every individual in my university has his or her interest, aspirations and achievements, and it is not possible that all these aspirations are tuned, synchronized, because everyone's interest is different, and as a result of everyone's difference in the interest and aspirations, the equations of relationships will generate, and these equations of relationships will create the dynamism in the organization. People will try to push the organization in the direction of achievement of its goal by considering their personal interest, by considering the interest of departments, and yes, by considering the interest of organization as a whole. So, people, individual is one of the basic constituent of organizational behavior. Next one is structure. Structure means how the organization is structured. There can be different organizational structures, starting from functional to product based to line to your geographical based. There might be different structures, and this structure will affect the behavior of people, and behavior of people will affect the structure of organization. So, structure of organization is one of a key element for the organizational behavior. It is not possible to run the organization without understanding the structure of organization. And if we talk about structure, then starting from the very small teams, if we take example of any organization, let us take example of a production organization where bakeries are manufactured. So, how organization has been structured means how the relationships between people have been created, how people can communicate with each other, and how they will execute their work. All these three factors will be affected by the behavior of people. And not only that, now let us talk about the physical organizational structure of an organization. How physically organization has been structured. If you will go to the plant of Nokia and you will go to the plant of Samsung, the structure of organization is different. Ultimately, both of them, they are manufacturing their products, but that structure is different, and this physical structure has impact on the behavior of people, as well as the behavior of people has impact in structuring the physical organization. And the next one is technology. What kind of technology is being used by the organization is another factor in understanding the organizational behavior. If we scroll back in the past and we see during 1950s and 60s, there was minimum intervention of technology, or even prior to that, the primitive human being had been using minimum, hardly there was any machine, and the tools, gadgets had been using. Let us take example of textile industry. We started with the spinning of cotton yarn with the help of a spinning wheel only, and then it was hand loom, then there was power loom, then it was automatized power loom, and then it was computerized power loom. Now, we have man free, fully digitized, automatized power looms, where the yarn is going from one side and a well fabricated cloth is coming from other side, and machines have a great impact on the behavior of human beings. And yes, human behavior, as I told you, that present day we are not worried about the basic needs, we are worried about comfort, luxury and choices. And comfort, luxury and choice is somewhere related to the behavior. When I am going to purchase a car, or when someone is going to purchase a laptop, people ask to the supplier that they need a customized equipment. Nowadays, we need a customized car. Customized car means what kind of need I have, that should be addressed, and these needs are related to the behavior of individual, and that is related to the technology. So, if we are purchasing the technology, even there the behavior is working. And the last one is the organization. Yes, all these collectively makes the organization and affects each other. Organization is sum total of all the resources working together in the organization for the attainment of a specific goal in a typical environment is the organization. So, these are the basic element of organization. Now, the next thing we need to understand is scope of organizational behavior, and scope means what comes under scope of organizational behavior, for what organizational behavior can help us, and among them the very first is to understand the behavior of organizational behavior helps us to understand the behavior of individual, to understand the behavior of group, to understand the behavior of organization as a whole. When an individual is working, behavior will be different. When individual has become part of a group, then there are number of individuals, and these number of individuals will have different interest, and as a result of difference of their interests, they will interact, they will relate as per the equation of their interests, and as a result of that, the dynamism will create in the organization. Dynamism means pull and push. Pull and push means the people working in the organization will try to pull and push the organization as per their interest. So, the scope of organizational behavior is to understand the behavior of individual, which comes under the discipline of psychology. Then how individual is working in the group, that is social psychology. How group as a whole is working, that is sociology. And how organization as a whole, because as I told you that individual will have difference of interest. Yes, groups, as I told you that group means a small team, a small group of people, or a department. Every department in an organization has its own interests, and there are number of departments working in an organization. Let us take example of a production organization, where there will be people working in the finance department, working in the production department, working in the human resource management department, working in the marketing department. The interest of finance department is optimum utilization of the funds, whereas the interest of production is to produce the best quality product, and the interest of human resource management is to bring the best human resource to the organization, and the interest of marketing department is to sell the products in a situation where there is maximum generation of the revenue. So, every department, every group's interest is different. Then how collectively the individuals, the groups in the form of departments or units, and organization as a whole is working in a cooperative, coordinated and synchronized manner, so that its goals can be attained. The next scope is understanding for the typical type of behavior. The organizational behavior manager has to understand the typical behaviors expressed and observed by the people working with the organization. Typical means you will find certain people, those who are wholeheartedly dedicated to the work, and the people those who are work oriented, and you will find people those who are people oriented, and their approach is different. So, there is need to understand the typicalness of behavior of individual, groups and all that. And yes, of course, as already we have discussed in this session as well as in the prior session, that there are certain set of behaviors which are supportive in the attainment of organizational goal, as well as there are certain behaviors which are considered as deviant behaviors, which hampers the organization and its people to attain the goal. So, the scope is to identify them and practice such behaviors which are supportive to the attainment of organizational behavior. Then next scope of organizational behavior is how the productivity, effectiveness and efficiency can be created by controlling and managing the behavior of people. And the next scope is how people as individual and in group should be compared with each other. While working in the organization, there is need to compare the behavior of people, and why it is so? Again, for the attainment of organizational goal. The people those who are rigorously working for the organization, and the people those who have a lukewarm kind of approach towards the work, and goals of the organization. There is need to understand and there is need to manipulate, modify and control that. Study of organizational behavior also helps in molding the behavior. The complete control system of organization is to control the behavior or to mold the behavior of people. And why we need to mold the behavior of people? Let us take example of a medical practitioner. How a doctor becomes a doctor? After qualifying +2 exam with a specific percentage, individual has to appear for the competitive exam, and in that competitive exam that candidate has to appear in the merit list, and after appearing in the merit list, individual candidate will be allotted a medical institute. There this individual will undergo the training, and each and every training involves 3 basic things: sharing of knowledge, imparting of skill and modification of behavior as per need of the profession. So, if someone has to become a doctor, that person should have very good knowledge of medical sciences, and that person should have skill to diagnose, to treat the patients. And yes, the attitude, the behavior of individual should be appropriate for the profession. So, during the training program, the behavior of professional is modified. You can take example of engineer, doctor or any profession during the training program, and it is not only during the training program, even while someone is working, there is persistent and continuous need to keep on observing the behavior of people working with the organization, and if that behavior is not appropriate. And why it will not be appropriate? Because of change and advancement, the technology changes. As a result of change in technology, the skills changes, and whenever there is change in the skill, the working of people changes and actions of people changes, and behavior is action oriented. So, there is need to identify the behaviors and modify them as per need of the organization, so that the productivity, effectiveness and efficiency can be enhanced. Not only that, if we talk about for the personal level or individual level, then the concepts of motivation, personality, leadership, learning, perception and emotions are also some of the factors which comes under the scope of organizational behavior, and all these factors come in the psychology discipline, whereas the working of team, creation of team, formation of groups, organizational structure, individual attitude and how the job is designed and what kind of culture is there in the organization, and the behavior of people working in the team, and what kind of power and politics and diplomacy is there in the organization will come under the purview of sociology, and accordingly that will come under the scope of organizational behavior. So, with this now we have understood the importance and scope of organizational behavior, and without understanding that, it is not possible to practice as an effective organizational behavior manager in the organization. And with this, it is conclusion to the second session, and I hope that you might have enjoyed and learned through this session. And here we conclude this session, and for the next session we will come up with a new topic. So, thank you for the patient listening and attending this session. Thank you very much.